I am Heidi Benjaminson, your host of Confidence Coaching, a podcast for mothers who want to like themselves and their teens. Life isn't a spectator sport. Success comes to those who show up every day with a pocket full of courage, grit, and a little sparkle. I'm glad you're here. Welcome to episode 156, Attracting and Repelling Emotions. I'm glad you're here. If you have kids in school, maybe even in college, doesn't it seem like this time of year is actually the end of the year, not December? Things are winding up. We were actually just reflecting yesterday with our kids on how their school year has gone. I hope that you are winding down or winding up, whatever it is for you. If you want support showing up as the version of you that you want to be this summer, sign up for a free introductory call with me. We can coach on a schedule that works for you, maybe every few weeks or as often as you'd like. If you've been putting off a call and you know working with me can help you, help your family, sign up. Let's get going so you can change your thinking and feeling now. I want to jump into today's topic, part of my Stay in Your Lane series. When I explained the concept of the channel of influence, I mentioned that there are emotions that we can be feeling. There are emotions that fuel our words, our actions, our body, which have influence on other people. Our emotions don't control another person. Their own body and brain controls them. But as humans, we are good at reading others. This is part of our survival system. Often we can read when another person is stressed or worried or happy or nervous or excited. Obviously, some of us are better than others at reading another person and being aware of the emotions and behavior of those around them. Now, certain emotions attract people to us and certain emotions repel people from us. I was going to divide this episode into two and focus one on repelling and one on attracting. Then I realized, y'all, I hate it when a podcast only explains the problem without a solution. So I'm talking about both of them here because often they are the opposite sides of the same coin. Often our repelling emotions are by accident, on default, and small pivots can turn us to the emotion we want intentionally. As humans, we are drawn to people who exude warmth, love, safety, confidence, acceptance, friendship. While we do not feel what another person feels, we do feel the positive energy that's transmitted by positive words, kindness, seeing that someone is aware of us, thinking of us. Our body feels safe knowing someone is watching out for us, even when the gesture is as small as holding a door open. Here in the South, everybody waves to everyone else as they pass by our home. As we walk each night, we wave to every car. My husband, he has started waving and he says to me, "Oh, did you see me wave? What's happening to me?" This small gesture signals warmth, kindness, acknowledging and respecting another person, and it's almost always a stranger. Because we all have a default desire to belong, to be included, to feel whole, our nervous system is calmer and attracted to people who exude these attracting emotions. I'll give some examples here in a little bit because it's so much easier to see with examples. On a deep subconscious level, attracting emotions send the signal that we think the other person is good, has value, and we are confident they can handle life. Repelling emotions, on the other hand, send subconscious messages that we are judging the other person as unable to handle their life, that they aren't making good choices, or that something is wrong with them and their life. Worry almost always is a repelling emotion. Unless we have very, very good reason to be worried, like someone calls us from the hospital after a car accident. Other than situations where there is real current concern, other than that, worry sends a message to the object of the worry that we do not think they're making the best decisions, that something in their life is not going according to plan, or sends the message that we do not think they're capable of handling their current situation. Worry is not love. Worry repels our children from us. Worry repels our spouses, our family. Worry is heard in the words and tone we use. Often, we're just in a pattern of how we speak, and we don't realize how it's being transmitted. And what is sneaky about worry is that often the recipient doesn't have the words to describe why they don't want to hang out with you, why they stop sharing about their life, only that they don't feel good when they're with you. So we don't get the feedback of how repelling worry is. Today, my son starts a new job. We hope to talk to him tonight or later this week. Now, how would you feel if you were him? And this is how I started my conversation with you. Hey, Carter, how did today go? Did you get there on time? Are you sure you got all the paperwork done right? Oh, I know such and such is hard for you. Oh, I worry about you. Do you see how the tone and choice of words reflect a lack of confidence? And they reinforce to him that something isn't going right, or it possibly won't go right. And if everything's going great, he then has to use his energy to then convince me. And that's not how I want him using his energy. Now, of course, I still want to talk to him, so I'm planning to be sure that my tone and words project confidence and love, not worry. I plan for the conversation to go more like this. Hey, Carter, how did today go? Tell us about your job. Tell us about the people you work with. Tell us what you enjoy. Tell us about anything challenging. My tone and choice of words matter. It doesn't mean that I'm not open to hearing about struggles, but I'm not leading down a road of presumed struggles. Curiosity is an attracting emotion. Often, if we just turn worry into curiosity and ask questions with a positive tone, others feel more comfortable around us. They feel the energy that nothing is wrong with them, that they can handle the good and bad in their life. Curiosity with words convey trust and love. Actually, speaking about the same son, Carter, he went on study abroad for his first semester of college. Now, wow, talk about me really having to be intentional on how we spoke to him. We wanted to project love and confidence, not worry. I'll never forget picking him up when the semester was over at JFK Airport. And there were many other families there to greet their kids who had all been part of this program this semester abroad. One mother was beside herself. I have absolutely no idea how she even let her daughter go to another country. In the 3 minutes we stood by her, she recounted all of her worries, negativity, so many worries that her daughter would be kidnapped, and worry just exuded from every pore. I honestly couldn't stand it. I was the opposite. I was so excited and proud of my son. Here, the kids were coming home. They were alive, and she couldn't feel the happiness and excitement. Now, I'm not saying I didn't have worries. I did. I'm human. You're human. We're going to worry. We will be concerned. We will have uncertainties. We just want to be sure we want the self-awareness that our actions and words are going to send the influence we want to those around us. My husband and I were beyond excited and glad to see our son. This mom was still a nervous wreck, even as she hugged her daughter. I don't think her daughter was even too excited to hug her mom, who was this ball of negativity, worry, and judgment. They just don't draw us closer to other people. Often we can pivot in the moment by pausing and asking ourselves, who do I want to be here? What energy do I want to project to this child? There have been times my kids have tried out for teams, for groups, where I have worried if they would make it or if they would feel a certain way on or off the team. And guess what? In some cases, I was wrong on their abilities. And I'm so glad I didn't project worry to make them subconsciously doubt themselves. We want to project confidence that our children can handle rejection, that it's a part of growth. Our kids absolutely pick up on the subtle cues we send that influence what they think about themselves. Being intentional on the signals we send changes these cues. Now, we can't always know how they'll interpret these cues, but we can be sure that we like our influence, that we like our energy. Okay, another repelling emotion is judgment. which always has shame riding shotgun. We project judgment often in our tone of voice, in our mannerisms, in our sighs, our facial expressions, turning away in the types of comments we make, or withholding love and acceptance. There are sneaky ways we judge others, and we don't realize we're doing it. But we all know what it's like to be on the receiving end of this energy. And remember, what repels us is our nervous system knowing that this person is judging us, even subconsciously. When someone asks, "So, did your sister try counseling before she got divorced?" When someone asks, "Do you think your son will go back to college?" When someone asks, "Do you think your son will serve a church mission?" When someone asks, "Do you think that's an appropriate outfit for the event?" When someone says, "Tell me about your reason for quitting your job," or "Explain again why you can't come to the family reunion," the unspoken question being asked or said is, "I need to know more information so I can judge if you're making the right decision." And trust me, y'all, heavens, I have said these things. So if you know you have too, you're in good company. But now that we know better, we're all going to do better. Because more often than not, we want to be attracting goodness into our lives and projecting goodness to others. We want others to feel good about themselves around us. All of these are small, sneaky things. Comments where the other person, they won't even be aware of the shift in energy inside them enough to tell us. What if instead we use words, tone of voice that project acceptance and love? Often this means we say nothing or we comment on what we see and like about others. Pause and be intentional to ask first a question that will likely elicit a positive response or send a positive energy to the other person. That is attracting. One way I've reduced judgment in everyday interactions is by watching how my responses to people come from curiosity, not judgment. Here's an example. If my kids tell me their grades, I don't respond with, "Oh, that's great," or "Oh, that's not great." Notice how both of those responses reflect some sort of judgment of my own. I try to stop myself and say, "Oh, cool. What do you think about that?" Because I really want to know. I don't want them to change what they're thinking based on any influence that my quick judgment may have. I would say that more than 50% of the time, I'm surprised by their response. By doing this, I notice they talk more to me. I hear more about the test or the homework. I hear more about what is easy and hard for them by withholding my quick, ill-informed judgment. I allow them to share more of themselves with me, which is attracting. And as they share, I let all of their emotions be okay. If they're disappointed, I don't try to make them initially feel good. I want them to know I can handle their discomfort and have confidence they can handle it too. So try it. When someone shares something, even just mildly vulnerable, don't say, "Oh, that's awesome," or "Oh, that's awful." With a lot of curiosity and kindness, ask them, "So tell me what you think about that." Curiosity and kindness are attractive. Micro-judgment repels the best of people from our lives. Now, if you know someone very well and your relationship is built on sharing the negative, just be aware of what your relationship is built on. Negative attracts negative. Positive attracts positive. I have a few close relationships where I can definitely share the negative of my life, but these are well-built, trust-filled relationships that on the balance are incredibly positive. A year or so ago, I was witness to an interesting conversation. I saw two acquaintances meet up after a year or two. I knew both had known each other for a couple decades, and one immediately asked the other if her husband's employment had become stable or were they still struggling. She asked with a surprising worry and negativity that I knew was nothing at all reflective of the other woman's life. The woman who was asked was confused and didn't really know how to answer, and the conversation diverted after a few moments. Such a small encounter just really left me pondering for days, and still it's one I think about often. While nothing bad was intended, the choice to bring up a possibly negative and painful situation in the first minute with anyone is very repelling. She could have said so many positive things. In fact, it was reflective that she didn't really know this woman's life. But she wanted to connect over something negative and painful. I've tried to use it as a reminder to always try to ask people initially about something positive if I can. I can for sure miss the mark on this, but being aware means I connect over kindness more often than not. I've traveled a lot with my brother, and in many situations, he's had to negotiate a driver for the day for us, or get some information, or handle some international situation. I noticed years ago, he does so by a little smiling, laughing, by putting the other person at ease. Even in third world countries, not in a fake, manipulative way, he does it in an attracting and positive energy way. Other people feel comfortable around him because he doesn't show up with stress, anxiety, and nervousness. His body and language project confidence, peace, and happiness. So guess what? Things generally work out for us because assuming the best and being relaxed, unless we're being chased by tigers, will attract the best into our lives. My daughter had a piano teacher for a few years who honestly laughed almost the entire time that she would talk to someone, a light, endearing, positive laugh. She always had a smile on. Her energy was so enjoyable to be around. Notice the people you enjoy being around and how they talk, how their body language, how the words they use, the tone. Okay, being disappointed in others repels them. They sense that they don't meet expectations and something's wrong with them. None of us want to feel like something is wrong with us. We're all trying to get away from that core fear. So yes, we may be disappointed in our teens, in others. We just want to make sure when we have interactions with them that we do not project this, that we project curiosity, acceptance, that we project hope and common humanity. I've had times when my kids have made mistakes, and I always point out that my husband and we've made similar mistakes. It's attracting to show them that we're on the same team. It's repelling to them to think that we're better than them or against them. So often adults can forget that we were young and stupid and that we had fears and insecurities running our lives. Our kids lie to us because they're afraid. Well, we can all understand being afraid. Understanding is an attracting emotion. We can still have punishments if rules are broken. Our tone of voice matters though, and the choice of words. I'm so disappointed in you. I can't believe you did this. That's repelling. I understand you're mad that you can't drive for a week. I'd feel the same way. That's attracting because we validate emotions and we aren't saying that they're bad people. Perfectionism and criticism are repelling emotions. We aren't attracted to people always pointing out what is wrong or bad in the world. Not even directly critical of us, just critical of everything else. I've had to rewire a lot of critical neurological pathways. Even being critical of ourselves is repelling to others. No one wants the job of always having to prop up our self-esteem. It gets tiring. This repels people from us over time. Think about the people you enjoy being with the most. Why do you feel good around them? What do they fuel inside you? Is it easy to think good things about yourself? I know they don't bring up the topic that is the most sore in your life. They easily mirror back to you what you're feeling, which is attractive. And most of us don't realize in the moment, but these friends reinforce that we are okay. The attractive emotions help us feel like our life is going well, that we're capable of handling whatever is coming up. Even if I am sad and a friend senses it and sits with me in the sadness, this is attractive. Her ability to let my body know it's okay to be sad attracts me to her, and I subconsciously feel better about myself. Perfectionism is repelling, and I know I can repel people when my brain goes into overdrive of high expectations. Maybe that's okay in the moment because I do want to do it all. I guess it's okay if I want that result, if I want to repel people. In general, though, I'd much prefer to attract my kind of people and build connections by allowing everyone to be human and help me. Confidence is attractive. Insecurity is repelling. Our lower brain wants to be around people who know what they're doing, who can lead, not in an aggressive or domineering way, but in a self-assured way. This is why we feel better. Even if the speaker is totally and factually wrong, we feel better on a cellular level when a speaker or leader speaks with authority and conviction. Next, we may question the content, but often the authority and conviction alone attract people to them. This doesn't mean we make up assurances. It can be very attractive and confident to say, I don't know. I don't have enough information to make a conclusion about that. Watch a press conference and you'll see we're attracted to the confidence of saying, I don't know, versus the fake people-pleasing of making up an answer to appease an audience. People-pleasing is obvious and repelling. Our nervous system doesn't feel safe when people jump to conclusions. Our body knows the more open-minded and open to new information we are, the safer we are. I am repelled by people who seem closed-minded and unwilling to learn more, even change their opinions. If we are more comfortable with insecure people because it mirrors our own insecurity, just be aware of that. Is that what you want? Why is insecurity in others comforting to us? Where are we feeling challenged to feel good about ourselves and our life? Putting other people on pedestals actually repels them from us. If we sense people think that we are perfect and never make mistakes, are better than them, our nervous system doesn't like this because we know we aren't perfect and we know that we've now been set up to disappoint this person at some future point. If you admire someone and actually want more of them in your life, talk to them like a human and a peer. This attracts them. Be positive, but avoid the over-the-top admiration of perfection. This is repelling. Needing everyone else to explain themselves to you, that's repelling. But being willing to accept and love people as they are, that's attractive. Okay, in many of these situations, I've given examples as if we are the ones that are projecting the emotion to our teens or anyone else, which is all the time, right? But what if we are on the other side of the channel of influence and we're often around someone who worries habitually about us, and they probably think it's love? Maybe someone always brings up the most current sensitive subject that when we see them. How do we handle this? With love for us and love for them. This channel of influence is where we can stop emotions from landing on us. Like I say, it's where we can tell ourselves this emotion is about this other person, about their lane, about the lens through which they see the world. It isn't about us. The channel is where we can see the worry maybe that our parents or our spouse or others have for us, and we don't have to let it compound any doubts we have about our life. If someone tries to project negative judgment on a situation that you think is positive, then don't agree with their negativity. This is how it works. My husband traveled for business and still does from time to time. And I remember people making comments about how it wasn't great that he had to work or travel so hard. And I would say, oh, we're so grateful for his job. I'm so grateful he works so hard for us. I would say that because it's true. Now, some weeks, many years ago, it was hard for him to be gone. And with close friends, I could vent. But 99% of the time, I was unwilling to welcome the negative energy because it wasn't the energy I wanted influencing the situation. Their comments projected judgment that we were doing life wrong, and that didn't match our opinion. So I didn't let it pass through my channel of influence. It's okay not to want to be around people who use emotions, language, and energy that is repelling to us. Often, though, it won't get to this. But know it's okay to protect your energy. I do. I only have so much tolerance for the negativity. I don't make it wrong for someone else to be negative, but I also don't let it in. I tell myself I'm always responsible for the energy I let in. I'm also responsible for the energy I bring to any encounter. And often that's enough to change the vibe. It's important we also don't judge others for their lens of the world, for any negativity or judgment they have. We don't know why they do. Maybe there's shame and negativity. Maybe those are defense mechanisms that are protecting them. We just don't know. I tell myself over and over that I want to have grace for others, that I don't want to be negative about their negativity, that I don't want to judge their judgment. As the saying goes, you do you. To not allow energy into my body, I ask myself if there are things I can't see about this person. I ask, how would love respond to this person? If someone's really stressed and I don't want to be stressed, I make it okay for that person to be stressed. And I repeat to myself, they can be stressed and I don't need to be stressed. Often it keeps me grounded and calm. Some people in the world live in a constant state of heightened paranoia, maybe from past trauma or neurological wiring. Our positive and attracting energy may not reach them. That's okay. Again, it isn't our job to determine if they receive our energy. We at least know that we can control how we think and feel around them. Before I end, what do you do when we do ask judgmental questions of our children or realize that we have been showing up as a bundle of nerves and worry? I know I have for sure. As Dr. Becky says, we repair. Just the other day, I realized I asked my son a question that showed I lacked trust in his choice. I didn't like the tone of voice I had used. I immediately said, hey, I'm sorry I asked that question that way. That's projecting I don't have confidence in you, and that really isn't what I intended. I know I'll have a lot more opportunities to repair. I hope that doing this shows my children that the micro judgment they feel in their body when people say those things is real, and to honor those feelings. And I'm trying to clear up that intentionally and immediately. And I model what repair looks like because they're going to need to do it too. I've worked on teams where leaders notice that their words and tone weren't in line with what they wanted. They pause, and then they pivot and they change and they say that they understood what they were conveying before and it wasn't what they meant. It requires humility. It requires confidence. It requires self-awareness. It requires us knowing that we can handle the discomfort in our body as we change and grow. And being unable to change repels people from us. Changing and growing attracts others to us. Okay, that's it for this week. If you would like personalized weekly private one-on-one coaching to confidently attract the most important people closer to you, sign up for a free introductory call at HeidiBenjaminson.com. A confident mother is the greatest gift to her family, not a perfect mother. Our families want us to feel confident, anchored, and calm. I can help you uncover this version of yourself. Have a great week.